You have just mentioned that storage account contains the properties.
Hmm.
So what do you mean by properties? Properties of what?
Properties means the region is which region it is located, which region the storage account is located. That is one property. Property could be what is the type of replication. Property
So,
could be it's a hot tier or cold tier. This is a property.
So it's like
so Manoj,
information contained in it.
Hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
property could be the format or the type of data also, right?
No, that is depending on the storage that you selected.
Okay.
Is there any default property?
Default will come now when you create storage account, it will have some default properties, right? You have to fine tune it. So instead of setting the properties for each and every storage, what you do is you create a storage account and you set it to that. And whatever storage you add to that, those storage will get that property. That is the benefit.
Yeah.
Getting?
Yes. Yes.
Idea is that.
So Manoj, talking about your in original question, so all these 6 types of storages will have one common storage account, or they will be different. So for
These two
example, we are
storage, the
seeing.
last two storage, you
Mhm.
don't need any storage account. It is managed separately, independent. Azure
Okay,
SQL database and Azure Cosmos DB. This kind of storage, you have to manage it separately.
separately. Okay,
You don't need any storage account for that.
okay. So
Okay.
it's only required for the first 4.
Yeah, first four you require the storage account. That's right.
Okay. Even I was wondering because I remember you had highlighted the first 4 a while
Hmm.
ago. So I was thinking probably it's only the first 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I will ask question one by one. So those only will answer. To whom I'm asking, they will answer the question, right?
So the doubts you will take later.
You can ask me once I say now, then you can ask me doubts.
Okay.
Just wait for some time. Hmm. Yeah, Mudassir, you tell me what are the different types of data that you have? Mudassir,
Yes, Manoj.
what are the different types of data? That's my question. Yes. Yeah, Ritik, you tell me what are the different types of data?
Uh, Manoj, it's structured data, semi-structured,
Hmm. And
uh,
unstructured.
unstructured, yeah,
Structured, semi-structured, and
yes, unstructured.
unstructured. So we have three types of data: structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Then next question is what is the blob storage used for? To store which type of data? Blob storage is used for which type of data?
Unstructured data.
Unstructured data. Okay. Blobs is for unstructured data. Unstructured data is like files, videos,
Correct.
WhatsApp
Metadata.
messages, and all that thing. These are all unstructured data, right?
Unstructured. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Tell me now, what is microservice architecture? Yeah, Ritik, can you tell me what do you mean by microservice architecture?
Uh, Sir, I have also a doubt regarding it, but I have understand that it's a container where they have only application settings and it will use commonly for operating system and it takes less time to start and easily deployable. Each service was run in a container and then these containers and created in Kubernetes using pods.
I asked you what is microservice architecture, right? Mudassir, can you explain what is microservice architecture? In simple words, what do you mean by microservice architecture? Yes. Hello.
Yes, Manoj.
Mudassir, can you hear me?
Yes, Manoj.
What is microservice architecture? Yes, Kev, do you know?
Sir,
A queue made up of microservice.
No.
so you have given us the example of an airport.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
You're answering too many questions. All jobs in the world you will only get, I think. Sanjay, do you know what is microservice architecture?
Yes, Manoj. Actually, I was going through the screenshots which I took the other day. So I was trying to remember whether we discussed this on the Tuesday class. Just trying to remember that. For some reason, I don't have it in my screenshots, so unable to recollect. Let me see.
Ibrahim will tell. If nobody can tell, Ibrahim will.
Oh. So it allows just to decouple the components, use it comes only in Azure in queues.
No. Okay. Simple answer I want. What is microservice architecture? It's a very simple thing I want. In layman's language, what did you say, Rick? Microservice architecture means instead of making one big product, you divide into number of small microservices like this. So instead of making a one huge software project, what you do, you divide into small microservices. Clear?
Manoj,
And
What
can
sir,
is
you?
what's the
better?
benefit? What's the benefit of doing that?
Yes. So first, have you understood? Mudassir, are you getting it?
Yes, Manoj.
So instead of having a very big product, you divide into small services, right? So what is the benefit of it, Mudassir? Why do we want to do something like this?
Uh,
Yeah, Mudassir, do you know that?
so the task can be divided
Hmm.
independently.
Yeah, each service can do some independent task. Each service will be independently scalable. Each
Yeah.
service is going to be independently scalable, right? Kev, independently हर एक service scalable होगा.
Manoj, can you zoom in on the image a little bit?
Yeah.
And you said it's called microservice architecture, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the way of making applications nowadays. Instead of making one huge application, they divide the application into number of small services called microservice. And each microservice works independent of other. Okay. Just like I gave the example of passport office, right? In passport office, what happens? there are many tables. Each table is like one small service. So when you go for passport, first you go to first table, right? There's a queue over there. So once you're done with that first table, then what do? You go to the second table. There's queue over there also, right? So each table is doing providing you some small service, right? So what
Correct.
is the benefit of this?
So I think it helps you get the work done easier. I mean, in terms of data, it helps you ensure that the data is being stored correctly instead of having everything all in one place. And when you said in terms of when we talk about it from the application perspective, it makes the work a little easier since every service is being handled independently as a microservice.
It is like for this you imagine that it is imagine that you don't divide into small service. Then what will happen? You don't divide into small services. Suppose the passport office, if was this just one table, what would have happened?
You
Queue
will
will
get one
emerge well.
table so busy, and plus that uh, the benefit which we get from the microservice like scalable for each.
No, I'm asking you a simple question. If you don't in the passport office, if there's only one table, what will happen?
Traffic.
Yeah, basically a lot of chaos.
Lot of
And a
Queues.
lot of chaos, and like Ritik said, a lot of data traffic also.
Traffic.
see everybody should participate in the discussion. Okay. I want everybody to participate in the discussion. Yeah, Buddhasthir, I want answer from you also. Everybody should participate. The theory class will see the discussion should be there. What do you think will happen if there's a
There
one
will be,
table? Hmm?
yeah, there will be a huge queue.
Yeah, the queue will be very big.
Yeah.
So they won't be able to cater to a lot of people, right? They'll give appointment to maybe only 100 people a day, right?
Mm.
But if you have microservices like that, then they can give appointment to 300 people,
Exactly.
right? Clear now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you want your application to serve number of users, lot of users, then you have to make a microservice architecture. That is required. Yes. Late gentleman.
You came running or?
Huh?
You came running?
It was no way actually. I had gone like friends. He has some down. Like,
Okay. Yeah, so it makes sense to make small services, right? So each service, yes. I can give another example of government office. In government office also there are many tables. Like if you want to get some job done, you have a file. It goes to first person. That person has already some work, so it will get piled up, right? In a queue. After he processes file, he'll send it to another table. But maybe that person on the other table, he's gone out on vacation. So no problem. Still, it's there in the queue. When he'll come back, he'll process it.
Mm.
It goes like that. Okay. So when your application has to give service to a lot of people, then you need microservice architecture. Okay. Or
But
maybe one particular uh, service requires a lot of processing. So you can increase the resources there. Maybe the queue is getting piled up a lot, so you can put more people there, like that. So each microservice is independently scalable. They're independent of each other, just like government office. That first Babu, if you tell him to do some other thing, he'll say, no, it's not my work. He will just do his job, right?
Yes.
He'll process the file up to one stage and then he'll pass on the file to another service like that. So that is what microservice means.
Yes. So even if you want any microservice to do any other services, like we have to add that feature, right? So,
How many it want? It will
Yes.
one microservice will do only one thing.
yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you would say that if I have a application like Azure,
Hmm.
it works in
Azure is
stages.
not application. Azure is cloud, my dear.
Cloud computing platform, like I have a app like ICICI Bank.
Hmm.
So it's also using this microservice architecture.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. You submit some application. See, as far as the client is concerned, look at this picture here. Client is just submitting some request.
Yes, sir.
Client is unaware that inside is a microservice. Client does not know. But it is just that this kind of feature will give you good service.
Okay.
Client need not know what is happening inside this application. How many services are there? 10 service or 12 service. Client is unaware. Client will just submit the job, right? And this API gateway is there. It will direct it properly to the proper microservice and do the thing. Okay?
So this gateway is like a monitor of a class. He will check who is working, everything is working good or not.
He will call the proper service, microservice, depending on what the client wants.
Okay.
He'll coordinate. You need
And as
not
I'm
know that which computer is giving the which table is giving that service, whatever. Just you call for that service, it will come to you.
It will redirect to the proper.
It will redirect it to the proper microservice.
Yes.
so as I'm talking
Okay.
about the application of ICICI Bank, so the first microservice will show the front information, and second microservice will show the account details, like that.
Oh,
It will
yeah, yeah.
handle,
You can.
delegate
What is
the
that?
power, or say
Hmm.
the process in microservice.
Yes. So I think
Suppose,
good idea.
yeah, suppose for example, any bank has its page. Okay, so whenever a client or a user wants to log in something, so definitely they would be having the microservices. They would be having their own storage or something like where all the users' details are there over there. So if suppose a particular user wants to log in on that ICICI bank, so how it will going to detect? Because they have their database, they have the microservices installed into that. So that user, whenever he logins, so with the help of that, the credentials, it depicts that yes, this is the user, and it redirects to that user's account. So backside of that, all the microservices are running. Okay, because that API gateway is there, so it will detect, yes, this is the user with the help of the username and the password. Definitely, they would be having some their database in there. So it detects, and behind that, microservices works. So it redirects to that account user.
Yeah, one microservice is front end. One microservice can be application, some
Yes.
application. Another microservice is the back end, the database. Like
Yes.
that. Okay.
So once you log into the portal,
Don't,
they will be having different
so-
features.
Don't think so much, just keep this example in mind. So for that you have to develop software to understand all this, right?
Yes.
So just imagine that I give example of passport office, the government office, and there are queues over there, and that is how it works, right? So don't have to go too much details into that. So it's just that it's dividing the whole project into small services, and each service is scalable. Okay, you can, if you think that you want to change some process for a particular task, particular subtask, you can do that. You don't have to disturb the whole software. You're getting me? So independently, you can handle each and every service.
Services.
So the management of software becomes much easier. Okay, so that is the benefit of it, and it is independent of each other because one service will do only one job, and after his job is done, he will send the output to another queue. Just like you finish from one table, then you go and sit in the another queue, right? So like that. So once you give the data to the application, one service will process it. The output of one service will go as an input to another service, another queue. So each service will have a queue. Okay. And for this, we require a queue storage.
Yeah.
So we have queue storage, which is meant for this. Queue means what? First in, first out. What is queue? Queue is
First in, first.
first in, first out. That means the person who is going first, he will get the first service, right? And he's out from the
Yes.
queue. Like that. So that particular storage works like that. So microservice can fetch. When it fetches, the first person comes first, thing will come input. He'll process it and he'll send it to another queue. So when you take something to the queue, the first in will come first, right? But when you put something in queue, it will go at the last, right?
Yeah. In the next service.
In the next service, it will last. So like that. So that's why it's called queue.
Yes.
It actually works like a real life queue. And these services, they are processing lot of user inputs, lot of user requests. The
Yes.
applications that, nowadays which are having, they have many users who are accessing the same application for doing different tasks, right? So they are unaware. The end user is unaware of microservices. But the internal architecture is like that. And because of that, it becomes easier, faster, more efficient.
Because
Clear? Because of this architecture. Clear now? And you require queue storage to manage those queues. Clear now? Blob storage is to manage the unstructured data.
Yeah.
Queue storage to manage for this particular purpose. Right? Clear now? Any other doubts? Mudassir, clear? Please ask question, Mudassir.
Yes,
Yes,
it's
sir.
clear.
Getting Mudassir?
Yes, Manoj.
So can I ask one more?
Yes, ask.
Like, what is Kubernetes?
What is what?
What is Kubernetes is asking?
Kubernetes is
Kubernetes.
It's the open source that handles in a cluster. Like there are different microservices which handled by the Kubernetes. So suppose, for example, you have different VMs on Azure. You can make a cluster of it, and you can handle through the Kubernetes. So it has a kubectl. There is, with the help of the kubectl, you can handle through the syntax. If you want to restart the service, if you want to deploy some any applications in that VM, so you can do that by putting the features into it. So it handles actually. It is a cluster. Cluster means there are many applications come together, and that application can be handled by the Kubernetes. It has the networking feature also.
Yes, you should take us also to this company so we can just.
But I think
Yeah, but that is not the right thing. Okay, Kubernetes, see, I'm going to take this little later in detail. What is Kubernetes? For now, you have to just understand that normal conventional way of working on services, that one VM, one service, right? One virtual machine you create, and on that you put
One service.
one microservice, correct? But the things are changing. So instead of using virtual machine, we use something called container.
Container, yes.
So container is what? Container contains the only application settings. only application dependencies, application settings. So that is container. So each of this microservice, they work in a particular container. Getting me? Instead of virtual machines.
Virtual machines.
What is virtual machine? What is container? That you have to understand first, right? And what Kubernetes does? Kubernetes will create containers on the fly. So if supposing some application you have to run, so the application will demand, he'll say, I have so many microservices. So this Kubernetes will create many containers
Yes.
out of the whatever resources it is having, and he will give you like that. It's that flexible. Getting?
Yeah.
So that is the job of Kubernetes. Kubernetes is like a logical, you can say it's like a dream come true. Just you want, say, 10 containers. So you tell him, I want 10 containers. So it will, and you can also tell each container should have what capacity, how many processors, how much memory. You can specify that. Accordingly, it will create and give you.
Containers only just only for microservices, right?
Microservice goes very good with container because microservice is a small task. So it will create that. It's just like when you come to our office, we have many rooms here, right?
Mm.
If supposing one room is busy and we want to do some tasks, we go to another room, correct? So Kubernetes does same thing. You will say, okay,
Container.
this particular machine does not have enough resources to have a container. He will shift it to another machine where he'll make a container and give you.
So even
So it's like
Kubernetes has,
assigning containers or a microservice.
Yeah, assigning the containers on the fly. The hardware, actual hardware, which it is having a cluster of computers. Not one computer, maybe three computers, four virtual machines.
Yes.
With that, it makes a cluster. That's the physical structure. But logically, you don't have to think about like that. Logically, it will manage, it will create containers for you. It will provide the resources in the form of POD. It's called POD. In that, you can create containers. So you just tell them that I want for this particular application to run, I have so many microservices, and each microservices I need this many CPUs, this much memory. So it will create those and give you. It will manage. Okay, manage the resources effectively. He will also keep an image of that,
correct, sir.
image of the applications that you want to deploy. So if you want to deploy more than supposing one microservice, as I told you, is scalable, right?
Yeah.
There's too much load. So you say that I want two instances of that. So it will create two instances of that. So that will instead of one person, you have two people working on the same counter, right? The work will be faster, correct? So it will do that.
Right.
So Kubernetes is that.
Kubernetes.
It helps you to manage things like that easily. It does the job of manager. So you just have to give him the command. I want this. I want this. I want this resources. It will produce. It will create and give you.
Yes.
You don't have to really bother where where it is available, where not available.
Yes.
It will manage on it. That is Kubernetes.
Yes, sir. And it's very easy for us, like we can create the .yml file also for one time, and we can use for many time also.
The .yml
Deployment.
file is the specification. Like
Yes.
the application, when you want to deploy the YML file, you will tell that I want so many resources. So it will read the YML file and accordingly it will create the resources for you, the pods for you, and it will give it to you.
Just you
like
need
that.
to specify the form of file.
Okay, so YML file which you're saying, it is for that one, for specification. You specify what exactly you want,
Yes, sir.
and accordingly it will create and give you. Getting now? And supposing by God forbid one virtual machine becomes hanging or something happens, so what this guy will do, he'll shift that container to another virtual machine automatically.
Yes.
Like one room is catching fire, or one room there is no AC, nothing, you're getting uncomfortable. I'll shift you to another room, correct? Something like that. So it does that. Automatically it does this.
Automatically it starts, yes.
Yes. Automatically it will do the things for you. Get it? So that is the benefit of this Kubernetes.
Shutdowns and create again automatically. You don't need to worry about to start, go ahead, check it, log in.
Right? So in detail, if you want to know, then you have to be a software developer, right?
Yes.
I am from the developing side also and both sides. So that's why for me it's easier, much easier for me to imagine. For you to imagine it's
This
difficult.
difficult, yes.
So that's why I'm giving you examples of room, this, that,
Make it easier.
make you understand. But if you have some software development background also, then it will be easier for you to understand. Otherwise, you will not know what exactly is happening there.
Yeah.
So initially it becomes little harder to understand, but once we understand, it's very easy. This part.
Okay, clear?
All right.
Mudassir, clear? Mudassir, say something.
Yeah.
I hope you are fine today.
Yes, yes, I am listening to
So
the
this
lecture.
queue storage is about that, right? Then table storage is, we say table storage, but actually it's key value pair.
Yeah.
Table storage is nothing but key value pair.
Value pairs.
Okay. So and then we have file storage, file share. So how this file share works?
Networking system.
Hmm?
It follows networking system.
Yeah, we actually badly need the credit card. Any luck, Sanjay, for the credit card?
So I couldn't get it from
Hmm?
anyone else. I have one, but I just had to try and reset the pin. Let me see if I can do that through net banking because I keep forgetting the pin, so I have not used it for a long time. Let me try to reset the pin through the net banking, and we will require the pin, right? Because we need to make that $0 transaction.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see. Let me try to do it right now through the net banking.
Because we
And
need to do practicals now.
Yeah.
correct, correct. Let me
Some
see. Actually,
practicals
yeah.
will be good, right? Like we
Hmm.
covered the AD, now we have done the storage, right? So some
Correct,
practicals.
yes.
Otherwise, I'll ask this Nias to give us his account for some time.
Okay.
Let
Let me also
company account
let me
practice
also
कर
try
सकते
and
हैं.
reset the pin because I've not used it for a long time,
मतलब
mainly
हम
due
मैं
to
ये कर
this
सकता हूँ
reason.
सर, अपना लैपटॉप लाके कुछ जो चीजें लाइव उस पे है वो बता सकते हैं सर.
बस हमको भी प्रैक्टिस करने को सिर्फ देखने का नहीं चाहिए. हमको भी प्रैक्टिस करने
नहीं
का.
ऐसे इधर हम कैसे अभी पढ़ाते टाइम पे
हाँ वो कर
वो
सकते
ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्योंकि लाइव रहेगा ना, लाइव का अलग रहेगा, प्रैक्टिकल
हाँ वो ठीक है, वो बराबर
है ना, सब चीज रहेगा ना उधर. सर बता देंगे कि हाँ ये ऐसे ऐसे ये फील करना है और उसके बाद का पार्ट तो लाइव वाला ऑलरेडी रहेगा ना.
ओके चलो नो प्रॉब्लम.
But still, because we don't want to just take more topics, then after that the things will be so much in our mind and we don't do practice. So that again we forget what we have already seen.
Yeah, because I have labs for both Azure AD as well as for the storage. I want you to do those labs.
I think everyone should have their own account to create.
Yeah, actually, with only one that
We have so many of us, so I expect at least everybody should try for a credit card.
with only one
It's not like you have seen that it's not your money is not getting cut from there, right? So there's no danger at all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's no, there is no danger, But the things like for me, I don't really have.
Friend, your father.
Credit card.
Manoj, I'm trying to reset the pin right now because I haven't used it in a long time. So I'm
Okay.
trying it right now. I'll let you know.
Yeah, please try, please try.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because yeah, see, theory is also very important because we are discussing this theory that is also equally important.
Mm.
But when we also see the practical side of it, then
Be
it
more
will be,
familiar.
it will be easier for you, right? And I have the labs ready for both the things, right?
That's great.
Which you can work on those labs.
तो वो लाइव में क्या कर सकते हैं, जस्ट क्रिएट करके सारे फीचर्स बता सकते हैं, ये यहाँ पे फिल करना है, यहाँ पे फिल करना है। तो मेरे जो कंपनी का लैपटॉप है सर, सिर्फ वो वाला बता सकते हैं, और उसका तो ऑलरेडी रहेगा इसका स्टोरेज अकाउंट है,
चलेगा
तो वो
सर,
बता
चलेगा।
सकते
ठीक है, देखते हैं ना, मिल जाएगा ना कार्ड।
हैं लाइव।
Mudassir, you also try, huh? Today you're going to try. Tomorrow you're going to try, right? Mudassir?
Yes, yes. Yes, tomorrow I
कार्ड
can
लेके
try.
रखो, आपको बाद में काम में आएगा, फिर एक का किसी का यूज करेंगे, फिर बाद में
Yeah,
अगेन वी कैन यूज इट लाइक दिस।
yeah, sure.
Okay, now, yeah, so we have seen so in the lab which you're going to study, in that we're going to create the file share also. File share is what? It's a shared drive which is there on the internet. Normally we have a shared drive in the office, right, which you can access, but the shared drive will be on the internet, the file share. Okay, and so one of the exercises is for that. So we create a shared drive in cloud. This file share we create in cloud and we use it in a virtual machine, right? We attach it to a virtual machine, or even your laptop. You can attach to your laptop. If you attach to your laptop, then wherever you go, that drive you will see all the time. So you can just save anything. Whatever you save, it actually goes and save in the cloud. It's like that.
Mm.
Okay, so that is the benefit of that.
हाँ,
All right.
Yeah.
So that is file share.
actually we can attach
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, it will look like a drive letter, just like you have C drive, D drive in your computer, right? You can have a E drive or Z drive,
Any
any drive letter. So which will actually be a shared drive on the
On
cloud.
the cloud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we saw the storage settings. See, we had talk about the settings, right?
Properties, yes.
Account settings, properties.
Mm.
So we have to specify what is the subscription, what is the location, where it is located, what is the performance you want, SSD or magnetic. Okay, so this theory is important because when you do the practicals, you can actually cross-check all these things. While creating a storage account, it will give you these options.
Yeah.
Yes. What is LRS and GRS, Mudassir? The difference between LRS and GRS? Mudassir, can you hear me?
Yes, Manoj.
Yeah, what is the difference in LRS and GRS?
This is a part of previous lecture.
LRS,
No,
GRS.
no, I think I was disconnected before that.
redundancy system settings, local redundancy
Local redundancy storage,
yes, and
global redundancy storage. So what is the difference between the two, Ritik, LRS and GRS? Is Ritik? Ritik is Googling it.
Google.
Ritik, are you there? Ritik, are you there? Sometimes I feel that we are in space and one of my colleagues is lost in the space. Hey, are you there? Are you there? He's not responding.
Sorry, sir, I'm back right now.
Okay. I thought you got lost in the space somewhere.
No, sir, the maid has come, so just giving her the task.
Yeah, what is LRS and GRS? Tell me.
LR is a local Wait a second. Sir, LRS is locally redundant storage,
Hmm.
which we
And
have
GRS?
which we maintain some copies in the local centers.
Hmm.
And GRS is a globally redundant storage, which we use to maintain some copies across the centers globally.
LRS is like whenever you create a storage using LRS, it will maintain 3 copies in the same data center.
Yeah.
And if you use GRS, then it will maintain copies,
In
3
different
copies in different data centers.
Across the globe.
Availability zone.
So that is the job of GRS. GRS is more robust, right? Depending on your data, you have to specify. Clear? So we have that settings. We can do that settings, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So when you talk about this, so it is we are actually talking about this. Settings business.
Yes. Subscription, resource group,
Hmm.
location, performance.
Access tier, cold access tier, hot access tier, then secure transfer. If you need, then you can specify HTTPS, virtual networks. It will help us to decide which virtual network it is accessible. It is a security feature.
Sir, ये secure transfer required to HTTPS. कौन से context? In what context the storage account uses? Like
Once you create a storage account, you can access it from the internet also.
Yeah.
So if you enable HTTPS, then the data transferred on the internet will be secure.
encrypted.
Yes, encrypted. That's what it's asking. What type of thing you want? Okay.
Manoj, can you zoom out on this one? Just wanted to take a screenshot of.
That's cool.
Thank you. Just a second.
So these are settings we can do on the storage account.
Just you have to add that while creating a storage account.
Yeah, while creating storage account, you can add or you can change later on also.
सर अभी लैपटॉप लाया हो तो दिखा सकते इजी हो जाता
Next time, remember to
Okay. Now, look at this. This is like there are 2 storage accounts here, right?
Yes.
So it is showing the settings. They're almost same, but one setting is changed. What is the setting change here?
Sir, the location.
The location is different.
Correct, sir.
Okay. Clear?
This is for GRS.
It can be of same data, but it is stored in another zone. So it is like GRS now.
Yes. Okay, so these are the various types of storage we created. We discussed rather. I'll share the recording, those who missed the class, no, but main things I've discussed now again. Okay, Mudassir, you were also missing the class yesterday, right?
Yes, Manoj.
I'll share the recording, so please go through it. Main things I've
Yes.
covered now.
Sure.
Can we use option?
Yeah.
So the theory part has ended here.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you ask me.
So because I have seen some account settings which we have not yet discussed, like
किया ना कल डिस्कस
अकाउंट
हमने
सेटिंग्स
परसों। हाँ सब
नीचे का एक स्लाइड शायद नहीं हुआ था, इससे भी नीचे था।
No.
सब किया है, सब डिस्कस हो चुका है
यस
ना।
यस वी
ये
हैव
नहीं हुआ क्या?
डिस्कस दैट, ये नहीं हुआ
सर
था।
हाँ तुम 3-4 नहीं हुआ सर कुछ
अच्छा ओके 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 दिस इज फॉर द हार्ड डिस्क आई वाज टेलिंग यू राइट।
ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम
यस ये भी नहीं हुआ था।
डिटेल में नहीं हुआ सर।
Okay, okay. Okay, now disk roles. When you create a virtual machine, that time one operating system disk is already there. Okay, which is OS disk. By default, it's coming. But if you want any extra disk, you can always get it by using a data disk. You can attach one more data disk to it.
Yes sir. Yes.
And also one temporary disk is created. So always when you will see it in the practicals. So whenever you create a virtual machine,
Mhm.
always one
Maybe for
temporary disk is also created.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is-
What is the temporary disk?
Sir, just for whatever we do on that particular before shutting down, it keeps with
No,
the,
no.
to remember.
Temporary disk is used for software execution. So there's something called as page files, swap files are kept there. To understand temporary disk, you want to know temporary disk in detail, yes or no?
yes, we know.
Want to know in detail?
Yes. Can we say cache which stores that is a temporary?
Okay, let's see how things happens here. Let Kev come back. Understand, do you know what is the temporary disk? Have you worked with the temporary disk anytime? Virtual memory. Do you know what is the virtual memory?
No, Manoj.
Okay. See, the thing is, the application is internally made up of number of pages. Application is internally made up of number of pages. So how this virtual memory or temporary disk is used to make you understand, I will give you one example. Okay. Now, if you see our lecture room, in that, say, 15 people can sit at any given time, right? So I can address only 15 people. But if I want to address, say, 50 people, 50 people, is it possible with that room?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
No.
Not possible. But I can make it possible. How? I can make 15 people sit in the room. Remaining 35 people, I make them sit outside. But arrange them in proper way, you know. And let's say I want to talk to one particular person who is not there in the room, and there's no place for also in the room. So what I do, I see out of these 15 people currently who are sitting, which person is not required now. I will move him out of the room. I'll say, go out of the room. I swap him out
Okay.
and bring the required person in like that. Then I manage my task. Getting it?
System.
So same thing happens in the computer also. The applications are very huge. So if you want to execute any application, first it has to come to memory, means RAM. Okay. Then your processor can execute. But your RAM is limited size, just like limited size of a lecture room. So what they do, they use some hard disk space for making the remaining pages sit in the virtual. That's called virtual memory. So some pages are in the real memory, which is RAM, and other pages are in the virtual memory, which is a reserved space in the hard disk. So if the application needs or if the computer needs those pages, he will swap out some pages and bring the required pages in the memory. So by doing that, it will do the job.
So we can say that this temporary memory is already like it is there. It's by default it is there.
Yeah, the virtual machines, they are actually making one drive space only for this purpose,
Ah,
which is temporary disk. So if you go to, when we do the practical, you will see that once the virtual machine is created, go to my computer, there will be one temporary disk also there. You should never save anything in the temporary disk.
Because after we shut it down, that
Because if once it is shut it down, what will happen?
all data will be lost.
All the data will be lost. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes.
Like phone contacts and SIM contacts.
No, that the example is different. What I explained you, remember that.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Then, OS disk. The operating system disk itself can be of three types. One is ephemeral OS disk, second is managed disk, and third is unmanaged disks. So there are three types of disks. Ephemeral OS disk is like if you see your laptop, laptop has a hard disk built in. Does it have or not?
Yes.
yes,
It has.
yes, sir.
Yes.
So if you use that hard disk, it will be always faster because it's directly attached to your computer.
Yes.
But imagine that you don't have any hard disk. You are using external storage.
Hmm.
So it will be slower,
Slower.
100%.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So in virtual machine also you can use ephemeral OS disk.
FM.
It will be very fast, but it has got one disadvantage. It doesn't have any features of fault tolerance. Only one copy. If that disk fails, you're gone, right? But if you take a external storage like managed disk, it has got a lot of features. It has got redundancy, it has got encryption, it has got every damn thing. So we sacrifice some performance for this feature. Do you want to do it? It's not very slow, also very, I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference, but you get so many more features, right?
Correct.
So that's why when you create virtual machine, by default, it doesn't take ephemeral OS disk. But if you create virtual machine next time, you see there will be somewhere this option will be there. Do you want ephemeral OS disk? But we don't choose it because it's not reliable. Because if it fails, it's gone, right? So by default, what is happening nowadays when you create virtual machine, it creates managed disks automatically. That option is selected only.
Yes.
So Azure is going to manage those disks. It will create a copy also. It's more reliable. It you can encrypt it. You can do a lot of things with that.
We can increase also.
Okay, so it makes sense.
Yes.
So managed disk is something which is used.
Tennis is that ephemeral would be having on in our physical laptop rather than managed disk. Managed disk always we would be using on cloud virtual machine AWS. Yes.
Just like you have a physical hard disk in your laptop, when you create a virtual machine, you can have physical disk in the virtual machine.
That is
But
for
if
managed
that
disk.
if it fails, it is gone.
It's gone. Yes.
It is unmanaged. It doesn't have any facilities.
Yeah.
But if you take a managed disk for your virtual machine, it will have all the facilities. It will be more fault tolerant. It can have encryption also. All these facilities are there.
Cloud. Sorry, it is all about handled by the cloud. No, sir.
अरे ठीक है मेरे भाई, लेकिन उसमें भी ऑप्शन है. अब कल नेकस नेकस करेंगे तो कैसे दिखेगा, कैसे ऑप्शन तुमको नेकस
Next,
नेकस
next. Option B.
in the next option is managed this. That's why it works, right? But if you dig little bit deeper while creating virtual machine, you will get somewhere the ephemeral disk option also. It will ask, you can choose this also if you want. It's up to you. But it is not advisable, so normally it will be using managed disk only. समझा?
Yes, sir.
क्लाउड है तो भी उसमें भी ये सब रहता है. Somebody says, no, I want performance. Data गया तो चलेगा. Performance is more important. So take ephemeral. Got it?
Hmm.
So here, see, managed disk is the most suitable one because it has storage account maintained by the Azure.
Hmm.
And it has many benefits like scalability up to so many managed disks per region, right?
Yes, sir.
High availability, 3 copies are there. That means it will not fail easily. They maintain 3 copies.
Hmm.
So it is protected against the hardware failure, right? So your disk is not likely to fail. Then Azure backup is supported on this. If you want to take backup also,
Yes.
you can enable the backup facility on that. So that is also there, right? So this is another facility. Then granular access control through RBAC. What is RBAC? Role-based access control, which we studied in AD, right?
Yes, sir.
And support for encryption.
Yes.
We can use Azure Storage Service encryption services. We can encrypt the data. So that kind of security is also there, right? And we have one more called as unmanaged disk. Unmanaged disk is something which you have to manage. Then you have to create storage account. You have to do everything yourself, right? But you don't want to do anything like that. So managed disk is the best option for virtual machine. Clear? Let Azure manage this disk for your virtual machine. So it becomes easier. Correct?
Yes. Support for encryption. Last one, or we can use ADE Azure Disk Installation, which uses built lockers for Windows, virtual machine, and VM encrypt for Linux.
Hmm.
Ah,
Protocols, it is there. Okay, done? Clear? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then disk performance. Like what is the disk performance? It can be measured in 2 ways, IOPS and throughput.
yes.
IOPS means input output operations per second. So how many mix of read write operation it can perform in per second? That's called input output operations per second. Read write operation. How many read write operations you can perform per second is known as IOPS. So if you want to measure the performance of your disk, this is how you can measure.
It's going like
Read write. How many read write operations per second you're doing, you're able to do. And throughput. Throughput is data going from one place to another place, like copying. When you're copying the data, how fast it copies the data. That is throughput.
So the
From
IOPS,
host to disk and vice versa.
so IOPS when comes whenever the data is going in or out. That
No.
is
Read write दिखा ना mix of read write. Reading from the disk or writing to the disk.
so it is about the data only, no? The disk in the disk, the
Disk
data.
का performance.
हाँ.
How many steps you take in a day? Your performance. जैसे हार्ड डिस्क का भी परफॉर्मेंस है ना कि कितने वो रीड राइट पर सेकंड कर सकता है.
हाँ सर, तो जब भी इन एंड आउट होगा डेटा तो डिस्क में से होगा, तभी तो रीड राइट करेगा, तभी तो ट्रांसफर करेगा. ऐसा है ना सर. रीड राइट तो तभी करेगा
रीड
जब
राइट
आएगा.
कैसे करेगा? रीड राइट इज the processor will read or processor will write. Processor will read from the disk or processor is going to write to the disk. That is input output operations, right? Throughput is if you are copying the data from hard disk to another hard disk.
Okay.
That is throughput. Data transfer rate from host to disk and vice versa. That is throughput.
तो इसमें रीड राइट नहीं होगा सब थ्रूपुट में. इसमें भी तो होना चाहिए सर, क्योंकि ये भी तो डेटा दे रहा है.
बराबर है, आपकी बात सही है, लेकिन 2 डिस्क के बीच में ट्रांसफर हो रहा है. उसमें खाली प्रोसेसर और डिस्क के बीच में ट्रांसफर हो रहा है. इसमें वन डिस्क, you're reading from one disk, writing to another disk. Throughput. थोड़ा फर्क रहता है इसमें, ठीक है. The problem is that each of these concepts require a lot of hardware thing to be understood, right? एक एक चीज में समझाने बैठूंगा तो वैसे ही सो जाएगा. एवरीथिंग ऐसे होता है. तो ये होस्ट मतलब क्या? They have said data transfer rate from host disk to vice versa. Host to disk and vice versa means what?
So wherever the data is there, it copies from there to another one,
Hmm.
and from other one to wherever we want to throughput the data.
दोनों में ज्यादा फर्क नहीं है. IOPS और थ्रूपुट में ऑलमोस्ट सेम है, लेकिन ऑपरेशंस में थोड़ा सा फर्क है. ट्रांसफर रेट, हाउ मेनी डेटा इज ट्रांस, इसमें कितना कितना डेटा ट्रांसफर हो रहा है पर सेकेंड, उसमें कितने, हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ, हाउ मेनी टाइम्स योर रीड ऑपरेशन राइट ऑपरेशन सब कितने कर रहे, दैट इज IOPS. और दूसरे में क्या है कि कितना डेटा आप ट्रांसफर करें, डेटा का क्वांटिटी है. पहले वाले में क्या है कि कितनी बार आप रीड ऑपरेशन राइट ऑपरेशन कर सकते हो. दोनों में फर्क है, समझे क्या?
Yes, sir.
IOPS means how many times you're reading writing per second operation,
Yes, sir.
and throughput is how much data you're able to transfer in terms of bits, bytes, whatever. That is throughput per second. Clear? दोनों में फर्क समझा अभी? आपका क्वेश्चन सही है एक्चुअली, दुरुस्त है. आस्किंग दोनों सेम है, मतलब दोनों फर्क है. क्या फर्क समझा?
बस तो ऑपरेशन पर
वो ऊपर का ऑपरेशन का मेजरमेंट है और नीचे का डाटा का ट्रांसफर.
Correct. That is the difference. So when we are actually choosing the storage, that time it will give different storage. It will say iska IOPS itna hai, uska throughput, and the Azure is billing you as per this. When you're creating the devices, that time you can choose how much IOPS you want, what throughput you want. Okay, उसमें बिलिंग है उसका.
इस पे बिलिंग
इसलिए समझना जरूरी है. So when you actually create resources in cloud like Azure, एक billing calculator होता है वहाँ पे. वहाँ पर choose करना पड़ता है. Suppose you have storage, so you have to specify IOPS कितना है. If you choose this, इतना IOPS, उसका इतना पैसा, उसका इतना ऐसा, like that. Got it? So based on that, they are billing you, charging you. Clear? Ritik, understanding?
Yes, sir.
And types of disk. So types of disk में आया आपका ultra SSD, premium SSD, standard SSD, standard HDD. So if you, I don't know whether you remember when we created the virtual machine, उसमें types of disk में पूछा हमको.
Yes.
So these are various types available. So depending on that, again the money matters this time, right? Understood? Everyone clear?
Yes, Manoj.
Yes.
Good, good. Good. So we are having a good class. But the only thing is, I think I should take a test also. Shall I take a test on Azure AD, this theory topics first at least?
All right, fine. That will make
Whatever we have studied so far.
Yes, sir.
will make us
Yes.
fresh and then we'll study. That's fine.
Yeah. So when can I take a test on both the topics?
Which one?
Azure AD and the storage.
All right.
Next Saturday.
When do you want test?
Actually, we don't have problem. It's up to you.
Next Saturday will be fine.
Saturday? Okay. Next Saturday I will keep test now.
All right, fine.
AD and storage.
AD and storage you have to prepare.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Fine.
But prepare, everybody should put efforts and come, not just that. Okay,
Right.
Mudassir,
सर,
Yes, Manoj.
working का भी आएगा सर.
Ritik
Yes.
and
Yes, sir.
AD.
Sanjay.
Yes,
AD में
Manoj.
networking है.
नहीं, पहले एक टॉपिक उस पे भी लूंगा मैं, सबनेटिंग पे भी लूंगा टेस्ट.
Sir,
हम्म.
I have two more doubts remaining. Can I ask it right now?
Yeah, please ask, my dear.
Sir, what is port forwarding?
What is port forwarding? Okay. और कौन सा डाउट है?
And second is meaning of schema in Azure.
Schema in Azure. Okay. Okay, port forwarding is his first doubt. So who will answer his doubt? Anybody who knows the answer, just say I. So I will ask who knows what is port forwarding. Actually, we had done this. I explained you NATing. Remember NAT subject?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
One of the
Yes.
Saturdays I had
Yeah.
taken NAT subject. That time I took
Yeah.
port forwarding, right?
So I have little bit idea, but people, yes, one thing I can speak, like, not.
Okay, Niaz can speak something about port forwarding. Anybody else who knows what is port forwarding? Anyone? Any gentleman?
So I think it was the part where we spoke about where it allows any uh, private network to function on the. Let me see.
Hmm.
It helps or basically allows that private network to work on the network, the internal network that we are using.
Hmm. Yes, Mudassir, do you know what is port forwarding?
Uh,
I think that it's, and I go ahead.
Hmm.
I think it's network. It's a network techniques that allow outside outside people or outside machines into your network.
Hmm.
Allow outside devices into your network.
Related, yeah. So whenever we are using port, so that means we want something to be transfer, like in networking, the traffic. So it is used as suppose for our requirement is like we want to forward traffic to like other way in the internally or globally. So that particular information with the desired, we can put that port at that port number, and the traffic could be, transferred for desired wherever we
Like
want.
Port forwarding is
Outside or private
Inside.
network to access uh, like
Yes,
yeah.
traffic.
When I say import, that means we are talking about application.
Network.
That means to access an application.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Yes. Port is used
Yeah,
for
port
that
forwarding. See, one of my clients, they were using port forwarding. I'll tell you how.
Hmm.
So what they have is a some PLC machine. PLC machine,
What is PLC, sir?
programmable logical controller. Some machine is there in their office.
Okay.
In one of their office, they have many branch offices, but one of the offices they have a PLC machine, and they want to access it from outside. Okay, it has some application which they want to access from outside. Okay, there are not just one PLC machine. There are maybe two, three PLC machines in their office, right? So those machines, like that, what that client, what he's doing is uh, they are into building automation, home automation, okay, and industrial automation. Okay, so they have some controllers which are on site. So maybe they have three controllers and they want to access these three controllers from outside, correct? So how to give access? So what they've done is all these three controllers are in the private network.
Yes.
Okay. But that private network has only one public IP because they're connected to some router.
Yeah.
So one public IP is there. So when anybody from outside connects to that public IP and connect to say port number 500, then what that router does, he will forward that traffic to first controller.
Mhm.
And if somebody connects to that IP with port number 501,
Yes.
the router will connect to another controller.
Yeah, that means
Then 502, it will connect to third controller. That's called port forwarding. So that means any traffic
I know.
coming on port number 500,
yeah,
it will direct the traffic to first controller.
Internally, they are.
Internally, the router is managing like that. So with one public IP, you are able to access all the three controllers from outside.
Yes, yes.
If you give the right port controller.
Sorry.
That is port forwarding. Clear now?
Yes. We have no, sir, in the like inbound and rule to add that. Means we can add and that port number specific.
So that one is only for the, that's like a firewall, but port forwarding is different. Port forwarding is like you are actually redirecting the traffic. The router, they have this facility to forward the traffic to a particular device in your internal network, depending on what port number the traffic is coming. That's called port forwarding. Very simply said, like. So in fact, when I was teaching these students, I do also corporate trainings, right? So when we're teaching the student that time, actually we demonstrated that. So they used the IP address public instead of public IP, they were using the some name, but that name translates to the IP, right?
Mm.
And then colon port number.
Right.
So when you do that, it will connect to first controller. Colon another port number connects to second. Colon third, like that. But it will connect to that application, but then plus username password because otherwise everybody will connect, right?
Connect, yes.
So authentication was there. So it's like that.
So that particular port number can be given. We have to give that, and
Yeah,
then
the
with the
router.
help of IP address and that colon,
Yes.
we can use.
That configuration you have to do on the router.
Correct.
So that is port forwarding.
So
Then
this will be done through
what?
whoever handles that. It will be done by on Azure, for example. So whoever has the authority, that that person will do, no, sir? Right. So this will come under inbound rule or outbound rule, sir?
It is not rule. Rule is different.
Okay.
Rule is just whether you want to allow that traffic or not allow. That is the rule. Port forwarding is different thing. Port forwarding is there only in firewalls. If you have a firewall, then you can do the port forwarding. But if you have a smaller thing like NSG, you have studied NSG now. NSG
Yeah.
doesn't have this port forwarding feature. But if you take Azure Firewall, then it will have a port forwarding feature, and that you can configure.
Okay. तो उसके लिए कुछ वर्चुअल मशीन ऐसा बनाना पड़ता है पर्टिकुलर उसके लिए या फिर उसी के अंदर इनबिल्ट रहता
अंदर ही रहता है. Firewall में you can configure this.
है? फॉर एग्जांपल सर मेरा एक वीएम है, ठीक है, मेरा वीएम अब मेरा एक है, उसको मैं कैसा करता हूँ 7206 उसको पोर्ट नंबर दिया तभी मैं विंडो का है, ठीक है, उसको जब मैं कनेक्ट करता हूँ आईपी एड्रेस :702 तो वो मैं उसको कनेक्ट कर पाता हूँ, बट वही चीज मैं फॉर एग्जांपल दूसरे को मैं देना चाहता हूँ और पोर्ट नंबर पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग करना चाहता हूँ उसको पोर्ट फॉरवर्ड, तो मैं कहाँ पे वो पोर्ट ऐड करूंगा वो पर्टिकुलर वीएम के लिए सर?
VM को क्या कनेक्ट करते हैं 702 में क्या कनेक्ट करते हैं
आरडी क्लिक कर लेते हैं सर, डीपी से कनेक्ट होते हैं सर,
RDP से
हाँ पोर्ट नंबर आईपी एड्रेस लेते हैं वो कनेक्ट होता है एफ मतलब फोर्टीनेट होएगा एक, फोर्टीनेट मतलब वीपीएन है, वीपीएन पे पहले हम लोग लॉगिन करता हूँ मैं और उसके बाद से मैं कनेक्ट होता हूँ वीएम से पोर्ट नंबर पे थ्रू।
तो पोर्ट नंबर पे कनेक्ट होने के बाद क्या आता है आपकी स्क्रीन पे कनेक्ट होता है मतलब क्या आता है कोई एप्लीकेशन खुल रहा है क्या हो रहा है
सर्विस है
कोई सर्विस खुल रही है कोई एप्लीकेशन खुल रही है क्या हो रहा है
हाँ उसके अंदर सर्विसेज ही रहते हैं सर,
कौन से सर्विसेज होती है
जैसे कि कुछ क्यू में रहता है ओसीआर करके एक सर्विस हमारा, तो उस पे होता है पूरे 19-20 वर्कर सर्विस ऐसा है उसमें।
हाँ तो एप्लीकेशन है ना वो
हाँ
तो पोर्ट नंबर से एप्लीकेशन आपका खुला
हाँ
पहले आप वीपीएन से कनेक्ट किए वीपीएन मतलब क्या होता है वीपीएन से कनेक्ट
हाँ
यू बिकेम पार्ट ऑफ द प्राइवेट नेटवर्क
यस
प्राइवेट नेटवर्क पे चले गए आप
हाँ
फिर वहां से आप यू आर एक्सेसिंग,
यस।
तो उसको क्या करना है?
तो अभी वही मैं रिलेट कर रहा हूँ अपने क्वेश्चन पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग से। अगर मैं तो प्राइवेट है, अगर सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल में, और अभी एग्जांपल लिया सर, उसको दूसरा पोर्ट देके कोई और कनेक्ट करना चाहता है, तो फिर क्या करूँगा? ये 702 ही उसको देना पड़ेगा या फिर कैसे क्या?
7 port number, same port number.
सेम पोर्ट नंबर तो तेरा कोई भी कनेक्ट हो जाएगा। मैं मान,
बस ऑथेंटिकेशन के लिए तुम जरूर यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड लगाने का ना।
हाँ, लेकिन यहाँ पे पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग में कैसे करूँगा सर?
दिस इज नॉट पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग।
अगर मुझे लगाना हो तो सर?
ये पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग नहीं है, आप तो प्राइवेट नेटवर्क में कनेक्ट, वीपीएन मींस यू एक्चुअली गो ऑन टू दैट नेटवर्क, आप ऑफिस में चले गए उधर और वहां पर बैठ के यू आर एक्सेसिंग दैट एप्लीकेशन यूजिंग दैट पोर्ट नंबर। बाहर से एक्सेस नहीं कर रहे। अगर वीपीएन अगर यूज नहीं करते तो पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग का मसला होता है।
हाँ, बराबर।
बट सिंस यू आर यूजिंग वीपीएन यू डोंट नीड पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग।
Because you become already part of that network. You don't need to go in port number.
जब वीपीएन यूज नहीं करते और बाहर से कोई एक्सेस करता,
तभी port number.
For example, sir, I don't want to use VPN. Then how will I do that?
हाँ, तो फिर आपको जो आपका जो नेटवर्क है एज्योर का,
हाँ,
इट शुड बी हैविंग अ फायरवॉल। फायरवॉल के पीछे होगा। फायरवॉल में आपको रूल्स डालना पड़ेगा कि एनी ट्रैफिक कम्स ऑन 702 on this particular IP, forward it to this application.
सही है सर, प्रैक्टिकल।
फायरवॉल यूज करते हैं क्या आप लोग? नहीं
है,
करते हो?
है फायरवॉल। बिना फायरवॉल की कंपनी कैसे चलेगी?
अरे यार मेरा तो
यूज होता है सर, यूज होता है।
वीपीएन यूज कर रहे हैं ना, तो वीपीएन यूज करके आप जा रहे हो ना, तो उसमें फायरवॉल की
थर्ड
जरूरत
पार्टी
नहीं
भी
है।
है सर, थर्ड पार्टी भी यूज करती है। मुझे पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग समझना है सर, कैसे? मतलब फॉर एग्जांपल अभी है, मैं नहीं करना चाहता हूँ अभी, तो मैं, अगर मेरे पास कोई क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा कंपनी में, तो फिर मैं कैसे वो पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग करूँ? क्योंकि मैं
फायरवॉल में करना पड़ेगा, फायरवॉल में रूल डालना पड़ेगा।
फायरवॉल ठीक है, तो फायरवॉल में चेक करूंगा सर।
फायरवॉल में
हाँ,
आपको करना पड़ेगा।
ठीक है। तो फायरवॉल,
So Manoj, are you saying that if someone is using VPN,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they don't require
नेटवर्किंग
port
देता है
forwarding?
हाँ, वीपीएन से व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, यू आर कनेक्टिंग टू द प्राइवेट नेटवर्क ना डायरेक्टली,
Okay.
so we
Uh,
don't need port forwarding. Port forwarding is required if somebody is accessing through public network.
Public
Public
network.
network is through
Okay.
internet, but when you are using VPN, you are in public network, but you become part of private network.
ओके, बिकॉज आजकल वो वीपीएन के जो इंटरनेशनल वीपीएन ब्रांड्स है, उनका ऐड भी ऐसा ही आता है कि इफ यू वांट टू व्यू एनी ओटीटी वेबसाइट्स व्हिच आर फ्रॉम अनदर कंट्रीज, you can buy this VPN, you can buy that VPN regardless of which geographical location you are in. So
Yes.
so that way, yeah, so that way it helps you access any private network which is in some other location also. तो आप,
Correct, correct.
अच्छा, ओके, तो फिर पोर्ट में आपने बोला पोर्ट इज रिक्वायर्ड जब कोई पब्लिक से प्राइवेट में यूज करने की कोशिश करे, बट दे नॉट यूजिंग वीपीएन।
हाँ, VPN यूज नहीं कर रहे,
नहीं
पब्लिक
कर
नेटवर्क से किसी को एक्सेस चाहिए, तो फिर
चाहिए,
पोर्ट
हाँ,
फॉरवर्डिंग उसके फायरवॉल पे करना पड़ेगा,
करना पड़ेगा।
क्योंकि
ओके,
वो सारी सर्विसेज फायरवॉल के पीछे होती है। फायरवॉल इज फेसिंग द इंटरनेट, तो
इंटरनेट।
फायरवॉल पे आपको रूल डालना पड़ेगा कि इफ एनी ट्रैफिक कम्स फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर पोर्ट नंबर, डायरेक्ट इट टू दिस सर्विस, इट्स लाइक दैट।
ओके, सो सो
Yeah,
मनोज
that
इन
port
दैट,
number which he's saying 702, वो पोर्ट नंबर एप्लीकेशन डेवलपर ने सेट किया है। while setting up the application they have said कि ये सर्विस मेरी 702 पे चलेगी।
करेक्ट, जैसे जैसे उस दिन मैंने वो 8443 का बताया था, तो आपने बोला था
हाँ,
कि उन्होंने probably they wanted it to be a custom port as 8443 because
yes,
443 is already a secure server.
करेक्ट। तो
तो
डेवलपर्स दे नॉर्मली सेट द पोर्ट नंबर कि कौन से पोर्ट नंबर पे उनको सर्विस प्रोवाइड करनी है, ठीक है ना?
ओके, ओके, बिकॉज अभी आई वाज जस्ट मैं गूगल पे इमेजेस देख रहा था थोड़े पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग के, तो उसमें आई कुड सी सम अदर पोर्ट नंबर्स आल्सो, जैसे 4242 करके भी एक दिखा मुझे। तो आई थिंक दैट इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज पॉजिट पैकेट मैनेजर में यूज होता है। तो इसमें आई हैड अ क्वेश्चन, जैसे अभी आपने जो बोला, तो समझो अगर किसी के पास वीपीएन है ऑलरेडी, सो दैट उससे मतलब काफ़ी चीज़ें आसान हो जाती होगी, बिकॉज देन इट डजंट रिक्वायर पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग, मतलब टाइम भी सेव होता होगा बहुत।
हाँ बट दैट्स राइट, बट वीपीएन हमेशा होता नहीं है ना.
हाँ करेक्ट करेक्ट. बट इन अ वे अगर मतलब अगर ये मैं सोचूं कि फ्रॉम अ बिजनेस पर्सपेक्टिव इफ यू आर यूजिंग वीपीएन देन आपका वो पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग का एफर्ट एंड कॉस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग वो बच जाता होगा काफी.
नो नो, वीपीएन को कॉस्ट लगेगा, वीपीएन का फैसिलिटी लेनी. पोर्ट
उसका हाँ.
फॉरवर्डिंग इज अ सिंपलर फीचर विच इज देयर इन राउटर्स.
ओके
नॉर्मली
मतलब वो
रहता है
ज्यादा
उसमें.
इनफैक्ट सिंपल है. करेक्ट करेक्ट. आई
बट
थिंक दैट्स
VPN
राइट बिकॉज
सेटअप, राउटर हैविंग अ VPN, VPN भी राउटर के थ्रू ही जाता है, लेकिन
कॉस्ट है
द राउटर रिक्वायर्स अ बेटर फैसिलिटी टू गिव यू VPN.
वीपीएन.
ओके,
ओके ओके.
बट VPN से क्या है कि यू बिकम पार्ट ऑफ द नेटवर्क एंड देन यू कैन एक्सेस एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम दैट नेटवर्क.
एवरीथिंग करेक्ट करेक्ट
पोर्ट फॉरवर्डिंग करेंगे तो एक सर्विस एक्सेस करोगे, दूसरा तीसरा. बट if you want
करेक्ट.
somebody to become a part of the network, then you need to give VPN.
वीपीएन
Your employees, like, you don't want, they are remote, what to do? So give VPNs. Through VPN, they
वीपीएन
become part of the network, wherever, irrespective of the geographical location.
करेक्ट
They
करेक्ट.
became
बिकॉज
part of the network, and then they
नेटवर्क
can
या
access as if they're sitting in the office only.
ऑफिस वाले
Even
बिकॉज
though
आई
they are
थिंक
away, wherever in the world, they could be traveling anywhere, but when they connect through VPN to your network, so they have become part of the network. So
करेक्ट.
there's no difference. Like whatever they could do while sitting in the office, they are able to do remotely also, because they became actually part of the network.
Then
So
in case
so in a way उसका extra
Hmm.
cost है but if you can afford it it makes things a lot easier for you.
Afford की बात नहीं, business need की बात है. What is the business need?
बिजनेस नीड. हाँ हाँ मतलब वही मैं अगर अगर
Everything
बिजनेस
is driven by the business need, not by the cost. वो need है
कॉस्ट
तो need है.
करेक्ट.
खाना है तो खाना ही है, अभी क्या करेगा
हाँ
उसको.
करेक्ट.
फास्टिंग करके नहीं बैठेगा ना, फास्टिंग करेगा तो मर जाएगा, वैसे ही है. So if business needs something, you need it. Technology is providing it. Now, whatever the cost.
Because I see on YouTube these days these days a lot of brands are selling VPN very robustly and very aggressively. बहुत ज्यादा प्रमोशन होता है आजकल VPN का.
हाँ वही है ना, तो उससे बराबर है. Some Arabic countries, they cannot watch some sites, so through
Yeah,
VPN they
correct,
will connect. सब पूरा
correct.
दुनिया दिख जाएगा उनको, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that. So they set up a VPN, and through VPN, then they become part of India network. Now, what
Correct.
Indians can watch, they will also watch. It's like that.
Exactly. But
In Arabic countries, some sites are banned, right?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, correct.
But then through VPN, they will connect to
Yeah.
India network.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
become part of some India network.
Yeah.
And through that, they can see every damn thing. Right?
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
Because I watch some British
Okay.
YouTubers तो उनको मतलब एक तो because अपने चैनल के लिए स्पॉन्सर चाहिए होता है so they continuously keep advertising for these VPN brands these days तो हर बार देखता हूँ कोई नया VPN आया है. I think वो नॉर्ड वाला तो बहुत ज्यादा पॉपुलर है.
Sometimes with
नॉर्ड
VPN
VPN.
was need
Enterprise level they use.
if we have like such a scenario which I want to tell you, if we have a server which has two services, can say two services or two applications that to be accessed from outside. In this case, if I'm using VPN to connect to that network which has that server, still we need a port number. Yeah, because with that port number, I will specify which application that I want to access.
Every application has a port number. To access any application, you need the IP address of the system, number one, and you need a port number. Now,
Yeah.
if you use a standard port number, you don't have to specify port number. But if you are using a non-standard port number for that application, then you need your IP address plus the port number.
Yeah, that's what I want to say, that sometimes VPN, also with VPN, we need to use port number. Sometimes it happens.
VPN job is different. VPN job is just to connect you to the private network. That's it. So become a member of the private network, irrespective of your geographical location. Nothing more, nothing less.
Just you need to register for that VPN in that.
Yeah, that's I want to say that in your case, what you are saying now, that you connect by using VPN at the same time you are using port number. It can
Port number is different thing now. Port
No.
number is
No,
required
but
as
he is saying no.
now for his application, like he's
For
using
his
port
application.
702 port number.
Yeah.
But if that developer says ki port number is 80 only, it doesn't have to. He just put the URL and will connect.
I got his point, sir. What he is saying to log into VPN. For VPN also has a port number, right? You are saying?
No, if like in your case
Don't
that
get that point. You're just confusing the point.
yeah, if a server offering two services or two applications, you
Mm.
connect from outside, and you are connecting through VPN to that network.
Ah.
So in this case, to connect to like, but as you said, as Seth said, that is the developer already specify a port number, not default one.
To the particular.
In this case, yes, you have to use port number plus the VPN also. If you're using VPN, also that will not be enough just to connect to a specific application. You need to use the port number again.
First you log into VPN and then you use the IP address, or if suppose the application wherever it is, you have to use that if you're connected with VPN. And then
You are asking a not related question. You are saying if you are in India, you can marry. If you are in Africa, you cannot marry. What is this? There's no connection between marriage and your location, right? So there's no connection between VPN and port number. VPN job is to connect to that network. You become part of the network. Now to access that application, whether you want to use port number or you don't want to use port number, it depends on the developer who has developed that application. He has developed the application by using non-standard port number 720, for example. So even the people who are sitting in that network, even they have to use that
They have to use the port
port number to access the application.
Yes, exactly.
But if the developer had made that application using standard port numbers,
Then we don't need.
they will just use the URL or IP address and
Yes,
use access without port.
exactly. Yeah.
But since he has used some custom port number to launch the application, you have to use whether you connect through VPN or you're sitting directly there in the application, irrespective. Got it?
Got it, yes.
So the question is unrelated.
Yeah. Got it, yes.
This question of being in the location marrying. So what is the connection between?
thank you very much.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, it's still yes.
It has got no relevant, no relationship at all. Two different things you're talking.
Right.
You're saying only if you are in India you can marry, but you're in Africa you can't marry. How is that possible? It's up to you. In India also, whether you want to marry, not marry, or Africa marry, not marry. How does it differ? Two different things you're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, clear.
Any other question, my dear? और कौन सा question था आपको?
Schema.
Schema. Yes, what is schema? Schema या खीमा क्या?
Yes, sir.
सर ऐसी भूख लग रही है.
Schema in what context? Schema
Sir, in
in what
Azure we
context?
use a schema.
Huh?
Sir, in Azure we use a word like schema.
But schema is used in many contexts. Schema is actually structure of the database. If you see SQL, for example, it has a fixed schema because it has got, when you want to create a table, you will create a schema first. That I want so many columns, this data type.
And schema have all the information.
Right?
So
So
we
it
can
has got
say
fixed schema. If it is semi-structured data, it is a flexible schema. Because you are not setting up the attributes beforehand. So schema actually means structure of database.
or we can say as predetermined, pre-stated set of rules we should work on.
Structure, Baba, एकदम simple अगर structure of data is schema.
Table
It
schema.
can be fixed or it can be flexible.
In Active Directory schema, also the whole information about the Active Directory.
That is also
Means-
schema.
Means any Active Directory has one schema.
Schema is like metadata.
Yes.
What information you put, that is schema.
Simple, it is just the information. But
Metadata, data about data is schema.
but it is
Yeah,
actually the
all
structure
data.
of the data.
Structure.
It is set.
Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
कौन से कॉन्टेक्स्ट में पूछा वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज
लॉग भी पूरा रहेगा तो उसको भी बोलते हैं ना लॉग स्कीमा.
फॉर्मेट
हाँ फॉर्मेट.
स्कीमा इज फॉर्मेट स्ट्रक्चर schema.
Yeah.
Okay, any other question?
No, sir.
So, okay, with that I've covered these two topics now, AD and storage. So, Sanjay, can I expect credit card from you now?
Yeah, I was actually logged into net banking, so I'm just trying to reset the PIN, and I'll let you know if we can. So, do you want to try it today sometime or directly on Tuesday?
Yeah, once you are ready, you tell me because then we can open up the accounts and we can start the practical on that.
Okay.
I can explain the practical stuff now. I can explain what you have to do in storage and AD. You want me to do now? Or you want to do side by side account?
What was that again?
Practical exercise is there with me. I can share with you guys.
No, but it is of no use now because we want to just practice immediately. Yes.
I can explain you the scenario for that practical. So I will have to first explain the scenario and then ask you to practice.
Yes.
What scenario is there?
Side by side, that will be better.
Side by side, it is not going to be very useful. Now, since storage is fresh in our mind, I can explain you storage exercise.
Yeah.
What exactly we are going to do with the storage exercise. Shall I explain that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
It won't take long, right?
Why?
वो भागना है.
तिकोना गया आपका सर.
Hmm?
आपका तिकोना गया. मैं आपको ध्यान देता है ऐसे.
ख्याल
क्या?
ख्याल रखता होता है और फिर टिफिन आ गया.
आपका टिफिन आ गया इसलिए मैं तुम्हारा ध्यान रख रहा हूँ.
इतना ख्याल रखना.
हाँ.
Becoming closer. Kiva. Kiva. What is your count?
Yeah, Mudassir, are you ready for that? Are you?
Yes, Manoj.
You seem to be low in energy today. I hope everything's fine. Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Just a second.
नहीं नया है तो क्या नाम नहीं था वो मास्टर डिपार्टमेंट में तो नहीं वो कुछ तो ऐसे पाई या फिर कुछ ऐसे हिब्रू नंबर है. हाँ हिब्रू नंबर ही है लेकिन उसमें ऐसे दिखा है इंग्लिश में नाम लिखा है बाकी इंग्लिश में.
Okay, I'm sharing on the group. I'm sharing one storage exercise on the group. Okay, I've shared it. You can see what are the tasks over there. You'll know. I will just explain the scenario. Okay, I will not trouble you more. I know this guy wants to go. Ibrahim, I don't want to trouble him. That chap.
उनको ट्रबल होता है क्या?
ऐसे वो नहीं.
एंड इंडियन अफ्रीका जाने के लिए ट्रबल होगा.
क्वेश्चन पूछता है वो वीपीएन और पोर्ट नंबर वाला क्वेश्चन है कुछ क्या
स्टोरेज अकाउंट रिलेट हो गया ना सर. आपकी एग्जांपल भी अच्छे से रिलेट होना.
Okay, I'll just explain scenario. It's very interesting. Actually, the practical is very, very interesting. You'll like it. You'll actually like it. And you learn a lot of things in that. Okay. I want to just give you a little taste of the practical, like what we're going to cover in the storage. AD I will not discuss now because see, better that we cover one topic and take the practical immediately because then some information is lost from there otherwise. Okay, see here. And see, the theory is not much left now. We have covered AD storage, then we have to do the load balancer. Okay, so that is the major topic, load balancer. Otherwise, there are miscellaneous topics then. Okay, we don't have much thing. Uh, so everybody should be ready next Saturday for the test. Okay,
Okay.
are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes, Manoj.
Yes.
Second. Okay, now look at this. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So look at this diagram. This is a good diagram. This tells you about all the tasks that you have to do. Take number, right? So here it shows how many tasks. How many tasks are there? Come on, you tell me.
Two tasks. Six. No, wait. 1, 2, 3.
How many
Six
tasks
tasks.
are there?
6.
Total 6 tasks are there.
Yes.
So in task number one, look here, my dear. Hmm. Task number one, what we are going to do is we are going to create one virtual machine here.
Yes.
We'll create one resource group, one network, virtual network, in that one subnet, and in that one virtual machine like this. But this virtual machine we are going to create in a different way now. In the previous practical, of course, Mudassir did not attend that. Mudassir, I'll be taking that one for you. You created the virtual machine through portal. Okay?
Yeah.
Correct.
But this virtual machine you will create by using a template.
Hmm.
Template is given to you in the group. Okay. So there are two templates. So this is how the cloud is changing nowadays. Cloud is becoming infrastructure as a code. That means you can create infrastructure and you can write it as a code
Correct.
specification. So if I want to create same thing some other place, I can just deploy the template. I don't have to really click anywhere. So this is an interesting example where you will create a virtual machine using a template. The template is given to you and the parameter file is given to you. Some parameters you can change, like the name of virtual machine, the administrator username, password you can change. So you will learn how to deploy a virtual machine using a template here. Clear everyone? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Manoj.
It is very interesting. Okay. You will see Cloud Shell, you will see practically how we are deploying and all that, right? Number one. Then, and why we want to create this virtual machine? We want to create this virtual machine so that we create a storage in cloud and that storage will access from this virtual machine. So we'll not use our laptop. We'll actually, there's no need to create this virtual machine. We can access the shared storage, that file share. We can uh, we can attach it to my laptop also, but then detachment sometimes can be a problem. Okay.
Mm.
I remember one of the students, corporate student, I attached the shared storage and for some reason it was not getting detached only. That student got very scared. They said, Karen, it's my office laptop and they will take action on me and all that thing. Right? Somehow I detached it going to registry and whatnot. I did the job. Because if you are using office laptop, sometimes it can be security issue. They will say how you are having this storage. Maybe you are transferring our office data there.
Compliance.
Getting my point. So this virtual machine is meant for that, to test. But imagine this virtual machine as your laptop only. What you will do on this virtual machine, you can do on your laptop. We'll create a storage. Which storage? The file share storage, and we'll attach it here. You will see a Z drive here, and you will store data in that. Is this clear to everyone? Task 1 is clear?
Yes, sir.
Sanjay, it's clear what we are going to do here?
Yes, Manoj. Yeah.
Okay. Then task 2, we create another resource group. This is another resource group. In task 2, we create a new resource group by this name. And we will create a storage account. See, this is a storage account created, correct? So in this storage account, we are going to create two storages. One is your block storage. This is a block storage, and this is the file share. So in task 3, we create a block. To create a block, you have to create a container. It's called container. It has nothing to do with your AKS container, Kubernetes container. It's a container. The blocks are called as containers here.
Okay.
And this license is a container. It's a unstructured data, which will upload it here in this container. Getting me? So task number 3 will create a container, which is a block storage. We'll see its properties. And then we'll upload this license file there. This license file is what? It's a unstructured data, which will upload. And yes.
लाइसेंस का कभी समझ में नहीं आया कॉन्सेप्ट
लाइसेंस नाम पे मत जाओ, पहले वो फाइल है,
सिर्फ फाइल है,
फाइल का नाम है, कोई लाइसेंस कुछ भी नहीं, एक फाइल है, अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा which you upload here. Now this file you want to access it from the internet, right? And task 4 you try to access it from another computer. You go to browser private window, you know that private window you can create. So instead of going to another computer, we open a private window here and we try to access the storage. What do you think? The storage will be accessible or not accessible? By default, it won't be accessible because there's security. Then we'll see how to give security to this, how to give permission so that we can access the storage for a particular time. We have something called a shared access signature. We'll create a shared access signature for this. Using that, we'll be able to access it. Yep.
What that we call? What we
Shared access signature. So using that, we'll be able to access it from over here, right? So it will be very interesting. There are two ways to access storage, either using shared access signature or in the Active Directory, we can give him permission. Using that also, the user can access storage, right? Yes. Two ways. So we study that. So it's a very fantastic lab. I hope you're getting this lab is good, yes, right?
very good practical.
Yes. So this is task number 4. Then task number 5 will create a file share. File share. And this file share will attach it here to this virtual machine. So it will look like a map drive, Z drive. It is here in the cloud, but we can access it through this virtual machine. So that's why this line here. This is task number 5. Correct? Then task number 6. We will control access to the storage using firewall. So what we'll do is we will make sure that the storage is accessible only within our network, within the office. It won't be accessible outside. So we make some setting in the firewall. So this will give you access to the storage only from the office, not from outside. So total, how many tasks are there?
6.
6 tasks. So don't you think you'll enjoy doing this, right?
Yes, sir. I will enjoy so much.
Good lab.
You are why you're most.
Huh?
He said that I will get most.
Yes.
He enjoys for no reason. That's good. Good thing about him.
We will enjoy also.
Yes. When he came first time, he didn't know how to smile on me. At least he started smiling like a flower.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he was so
Upset.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So clear, guys? Everybody's clear?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Sanjay, good luck to you. I am waiting to hear the good news that your credit card is working. Just Just ping on the group so that next class we can do this lab. Okay.
So Manoj, if you want, I mean, I can be on the call. I think it will just take 5 or 10 minutes if you want to test it now. Actually, I was trying to reset the pin, but I'll need the card details. So I wasn't stepping away because we were discussing this. So if you want to wait for 5-10 minutes, I can do it
Reset
now.
हुआ क्या आपका?
नहीं एक्चुअली वो आई हैड टू ग्रैब माय वॉलेट इसलिए मैं उठ नहीं रहा था मेरा वी आर डिस्कसिंग समथिंग सो वी डिड नॉट डू इट सो मैं सोचा थोड़ी देर में जाता हूँ बट इफ वी आर डन विद दिस एक्सप्लेनेशन हम अगर कोई और टॉपिक नहीं कर रहे आई कैन डू इट राइट नाउ
Yeah, we are done with the explanation. That's right.
ओके लेट मी ट्राई इट नाउ जस्ट अ मिनट
Yeah.
सर ये जो रिसोर्स ग्रुप है सर जो वर्चुअल मशीन के लिए रिसोर्स ग्रुप है सेम रिसोर्स ग्रुप हम लोग स्टोरेज अकाउंट के लिए भी यूज कर सकते हैं ना व्हाई वी आर प्रेफरिंग सेकंड रिसोर्स ग्रुप
Why we are using what?
another resource group for the storage account like what is like how can I differentiate like because once I have the resource group already for the virtual machine which is connected into which is using but why I want the storage account other resource groups what is the purpose like in what context we are using instead of having one as a tool
Yeah, the purpose is that
easy to differentiate
when you create another resource group, we can define permissions. No, every resource group, you can set the permission at the resource group level. That is why you want to set more resource groups for administration purpose. That is one thing. Secondly, as I said, that first resource group, that first virtual machine is made so that we can test the storage. तो थोड़ा उसको अलग ही रखा है. It's not part of the solution. It is part of testing. ये जो पहला रिसोर्स ग्रुप में वर्चुअल मशीन है उसका कोई स्टोरेज को कोई लेना देना नहीं. It's just for testing the storage, to access the storage. We can use this virtual machine just to test the storage. उसके लिए वो.
तो सर अगर रिसोर्स ग्रुप पे कुछ परमिशंस या कुछ है बाय डिफॉल्ट या फिर जो भी कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस हैं अगर वो अटैच फॉर एग्जांपल अटैच करते हैं सेम रिसोर्स ग्रुप को स्टोरेज अकाउंट में तो उसमें कुछ परमिशंस को लेके कुछ या फिर सेटिंग्स को लेके कुछ प्रॉब्लम होगा सर ऐसा कुछ है या नहीं जैसे परमिशन लेवल पे आप हो गया रिसोर्स ग्रुप तो ऐसा कुछ होता है क्या सर अगर क्योंकि रिसोर्स ग्रुप
इसलिए ईडी का सीखना पड़ेगा ना. ईडी के लेक्चर में एब्सेंट
था सर हाँ कुछ लेक्चर्स
अभी ईडी का जब मैं एक्सरसाइज लूंगा ना
हाँ
तो तब उसके लिए मैं रह जाऊँ. एडी का भी मैं एक्सप्लेन कर सकता हूँ. एडी का एक्सरसाइज भेजू क्या? I'll send AD exercise also.
3 o'clock I have.
Yeah. Send you.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
I understand.
I'll push you.
Sorry, how?
By the way, why you didn't come for Python class yesterday? Don't miss the class, by the way.
Yeah, actually, I just because the previous days I did not come, I forgot actually yesterday again.
Sufyan.
Hi Manoj, can you hear me?
हाँ बोलो.
So Manoj, I think recently I had some issue because of incorrect PIN. So due to which I think what they've done is because I tried to pay my electricity bill just now using my credit card. So I think they've disabled the online transactions. So let me call the customer care team just now, and I can call you separately